In this video, we're going to teach you how to replace a bottom weather seal for a Wayne Dalton 9100 model garage door, but at the same time, we're going to provide you some pro tips on how to do it with the retainer. Let's party. We're going to be taking off this seal, and it's got some pieces here that are pretty gnarly. Looks like an animal was chewing through it, especially over here on this end is definitely where we got a lot of that issue. But we're going to be replacing the retainer to it as well. So one of the things you want to do is you want to secure the door. So I'm using some vice grips in order to do that. A portion or a part of the door where the retainer is, or I should say where the rollers are at. And that should help secure the door. Even though I have my door stand under the door, this is going to basically help it so that way the door doesn't fall. Now I would recommend doing this while there's no tension to the spring, but you can actually do this with tension to the TorqueMaster Plus spring system or the torsion spring. But I highly recommend taking the tension off because you do not want to create an imbalance to your door. Making sure that there's no imbalances, you might want to apply 2 vice grips at any part of where the rollers are at on the track, so that way your door doesn't slide down. There we go. Okay, so you can see now that we took away our door stand, thus we don't have to worry about the door falling, because right now it's dealing with one broken spring. But again, I want to get that space clean and clear, so that way I can take off that bottom retainer and be able to replace that bottom weather seal. Granted, I know I can do just the bottom weather seal, but this retainer and the bottom weather seal happens to be a little bit more tighter. I really can't get it through. I don't want to fight with it, so that's why I'm replacing both of them. Now you will need some specific tools. Aside from your drill and a drill bit, the specific bit that you'll require is a Torx bit that happens to be tamper-proof. So this happens to have a little hole here. This is actually a T25 size Torx bit. This will enable us to take off one of those screws that are on the bottom brackets to that bottom garage door section. So it's really important to utilize this type of bit, this Torx bit, with the tamper-proof hole in order to get that off. But we're really going to start first with the middle screws along the retainer. Had to go Home Depot. Okay, so you got to make sure that you have the right drill bits to take off the screws to that bottom retainer, because I didn't have them. I mean, Mondays, right? You probably had to Monday today. I know I had to Monday today, and this is probably not even gonna come out on a Monday. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and focus on that bottom retainer. Yep. Okay, so we got those screws off. Probably not gonna be using these screws. And we're gonna take off these specific screws to the bottom door brackets. Normally on a torsion spring system, I would not do this, but because we have a screw on the side here that puts or keeps this bracket in, I'm not worried about it. But still, that's why I have the vice grips in place. Hopefully this doesn't fall on me. Take off this one. We'll take off this one. Is it stripped? It's a little bit bigger. On this last one, I'm just going to loosen it a tad. And it's because there's this little slit on the bottom retainer that we should be able to just simply pull out. Aha! There we go. That's simple. Now, in order to install the bottom retainer with the weather seal, I'm going to tuck in the excess amount of the weather seal into itself. You can cut it off, but usually I like to tuck it in, so that way in the future, if you need some excess, you can utilize what's tucked inside. If not, it'll shrink up over time and you'll have to replace it all over again. Now I'm simply going to place snug in on each side and simply tighten it back on. Now you're gonna have to bend it a little bit in order for it to slide onto the other side, but you don't want to bend too much because then it won't stay straight on. And we're going to go ahead and tack this back on. I'm going to use a self-tapping screw to make sure I just keep it on straight. Now that we've got the screws on the bottom brackets, we're just going to go ahead and put tap screws straight along the bottom retainer. And that's pretty much it. Now, the pro tips, techniques, and ideas in this video should not be considered law or infallible. Why? Well, because I'm nobody. But at the same time, it's important for you to understand your garage door needs and your garage door circumstances. Thus, if you don't care to know any of that, then reach out to a contractor, because that's what we're there for. Now check out this video here for more pro tips and tech reviews for your residential garage door needs. As always, I want to thank you all for partying with me. Y'all stay safe.